At the beginning of this story, we see a newborn baby boy. He is being moved from one place to another by doctors with special care. Actually, this baby is extremely sensitive. He was born without any immunity. Before anyone goes near him, they have to fully sanitize themselves. The baby is named Jimmy. Jimmy's mom is very conscious about his health, which is why she doesn't allow anyone to enter their house. If even a small amount of germs reach Jimmy, it could make him very sick, and he might even catch a serious disease. For 4 years, Jimmy stays in the hospital, living inside a protective bubble. After 4 years, when he is brought home, a large bubble is placed over his bed too, so that no germs or viruses can reach him. This bubble has two built-in gloves, like hand sleeves, through which his parents can touch him safely. They also have a machine that sanitizes everything completely before it is brought near Jimmy. Jimmy's entire life seems to be trapped inside a bubble. He knows nothing about the outside world because he has always lived in isolation. Jimmy has never gone outside in his life. His mom loves him a lot, but she is also a strict nationalist. She only shares her own beliefs and ideologies with Jimmy. One day, as Jimmy looks out of the window, he sees 3 kids who have covered themselves completely in plastic and making fun of him. Jimmy's life remained confined within 4 walls. Time passed like this, and now Jimmy is 16 years old. One day, when he looks out of the window, he sees a girl who has just moved into the neighborhood. Jimmy is immediately attracted to her, but he doesn't know anything about love. He has never spoken to any female other than his mother. Still, he feels a special attraction towards this girl. When Jimmy's mom finds out about this, she tells him that love and attraction are meaningless and foolish things. But every time Jimmy sees the girl, he feels happy. A few more years pass, and Jimmy continues to watch the girl named Khloe from his window every day. Khloe also knows that Jimmy watches her from the window. She realizes that he likes her, but Jimmy could never talk to Khloe because he never stepped outside his house. Khloe's friends often made fun of Jimmy, calling him Bubble Boy because he always lived inside a bubble. Khloe didn't like her friends mocking him. She didn't want to hear anything bad about Jimmy, so she left from there and decided to visit his house. When she goes to Jimmy's house, she is invited inside. She notices that the house has big air pipes installed everywhere for air circulation. When she goes upstairs, she sees Jimmy for the first time. Jimmy is shocked. He has never seen a girl from so close in his entire life. Khloe tells him she likes his guitar, so Jimmy gives it to her. Then, using the special bubble gloves installed beside his bubble, he puts his hands in and teaches her how to play the guitar. After that day, Khloe starts coming to visit him every day, and a sweet friendship develops between them. Jimmy's mom doesn't like Khloe, but since Jimmy is now grown up, she can't stop him. As their friendship grows, happiness begins to return to Jimmy's life. On Halloween, Khloe brings some kids with her, and Jimmy experiences what a Halloween party feels like for the first time. Eventually, Jimmy and Khloe fall in love. One night, Khloe tells Jimmy that she wants to come inside his bubble because she can't stay away from him anymore. But Jimmy doesn't allow her to enter, which hurts her deeply. She leaves, feeling heartbroken. She also realizes that their lives are very different and they can never truly be together. So she gets engaged to another guy. Later, she visits Jimmy and shows him her engagement ring. Even though this breaks Jimmy's heart, he hides his pain and doesn't show it on his face. Khloe's wedding is coming up soon, and though she tries to stay strong, she's sad too because she truly loves Jimmy. She had once given Jimmy a guinea pig, which lives inside a bubble. Jimmy returns the guinea pig to her. Khloe also leaves him a gift. After she leaves, Jimmy opens it and finds a snow globe with the words, "I love you" written inside. Seeing this brings him great joy. Jimmy always knew that Khloe liked him, but this was the first time she had clearly said, "I love you." Now, Jimmy makes up his mind. No matter what, he will break out of his bubble and go to Niagara Falls, where Khloe's wedding is going to take place. Jimmy decides to stop Khloe's wedding. He builds a special bubble suit that allows him to move around freely while staying protected. He goes to the ticket counter to buy a bus ticket, but then realizes he forgot his money at home. As he steps out onto the road, a bus hits him, but thanks to his protective bubble, he survives without any injuries. Some people get off the bus and offer Jimmy a ride. He soon finds out that they are all religious pilgrims on their way to a holy place. However, Jimmy knows nothing about religion or God because his mother never taught him anything about these topics. Jimmy begins asking strange questions to the religious people, which offends their beliefs. Upset, they throw him out of the bus. Just then, a man named Slim arrives on a motorcycle. Jimmy shares his story about his life and his love for Khloe. Slim becomes emotional and opens up about his own ex-girlfriend. Meanwhile, we see the same religious group arriving at a sacred place to meet their spiritual leader. The leader shows them an image carved on a stone that looks just like Jimmy's protective bubble. He tells them that Jimmy is not an ordinary person, but someone sent by God, and that he needs their help. Back to Jimmy. He and Slim arrive in Las Vegas, where they enter a casino and have lots of fun. Jimmy enjoys life like never before, but he remembers that Khloe's wedding is only 2 days away. So he takes a scooter and sets off again. While he's on the road, his parents, who have been searching for him, spot him. Jimmy accidentally crashes into their car, but bounces away safely due to his bubble. He lands inside a moving train, where he meets a group of strange people. They tell him that they've been captured by their boss, who forces them to work in his show. Jimmy is taken to meet this boss, a short man. By accident, Jimmy knocks him over, freeing all the people he had imprisoned. Jimmy then continues his journey to Niagara Falls, but he still doesn't know how exactly he'll get there. At the restaurant, people start bothering Jimmy because of his bubble. When he explains that he lives in the bubble because he has no immunity, everyone gets scared. They think he has a dangerous virus inside, and that if the bubble bursts, they will all get infected. Panic spreads, and chaos breaks out. A fire even starts in the restaurant. Jimmy gets trapped inside, but the Indian man saves him and brings him out. His name is Pushpa, and he owns a truck. He decides to help Jimmy and gives him a ride toward Niagara Falls. But Jimmy's bad luck continues. The truck crashes into a cow. Pushpa feels very sad because, to him, the cow is holy. When Jimmy tries to explain it was just an accident, Pushpa doesn't understand and refuses to believe him. This makes Pushpa angry, and he tells Jimmy to leave. Now Jimmy is all alone again, but still determined to reach Niagara Falls. He walks for miles until he reaches a small town. Meanwhile, Slim and his group of bikers reach Pushpa, where they find out that Jimmy had already left on foot. So they get on their bikes and ride out to find him. Jimmy goes into a club in the town where two girls are getting ready to wrestle. When they see Jimmy in a bubble, they get curious and try to break it. Jimmy manages to escape and is about to leave the town when the same religious group appears again. As the religious group is taking Jimmy along, Slim and his group of bikers arrive at the scene. A fight breaks out among them, and Jimmy uses this opportunity to escape. He meets an old man who offers him a ride. Jimmy sleeps during the night, but when he wakes up the next morning, he finds that the old man has passed away. Soon after, the car crashes and Jimmy ends up in a store. There, he sees a phone and calls Khloe. However, it's Khloe's fiancé who answers. He tells Jimmy that he marry Khloe in an hour and says some harsh words to Jimmy. Feeling hopeless, Jimmy calls his parents for help. They come to pick him up, and as they drive, Jimmy feels deeply sad. His father, sitting with him in the car, encourages him by saying that he should never give up until his goal is achieved. Motivated by his father's words, Jimmy decides to continue his journey to meet Khloe. However, his mother, Slim's group, and the religious group are all following him, determined to stop him from reaching Khloe. In an attempt to stop Jimmy, his mother ends up in front of Slim's truck, causing Slim to stop in surprise. He recognizes her as the woman he once loved. They are all on an airplane runway when a private plane lands, piloted by an elderly man who turns out to be the twin brother of the old man who had given Jimmy a ride and later passed away. This man offers to take Jimmy to Niagara Falls. Meanwhile, at a church, a wedding ceremony is about to take place. Before the ceremony can finish, Jimmy arrives at the church, and Khloe is overjoyed to see him. She runs to him, and Jimmy, determined to be with her, tells her that he loves her deeply. In that moment, he tears apart his protective bubble and steps outside and collapses. Seeing him, everyone is terrified. Jimmy's father then reveals the truth to everyone. Jimmy was never sick. His immune system is just as strong as anyone else's. Jimmy's mother had kept him inside, protecting him from the world's evils. But now the truth is out. After learning the truth, Jimmy forgives his mother. A few days later, Jimmy and Khloe get married, and at their wedding, all the people Jimmy met during his journey come to celebrate. Slim, who once loved Jimmy's mother, is now friends with her and even with Jimmy's father. The story ends with everyone happily together, showing how Jimmy's life has transformed. We hope you enjoyed the story.